A man amputated his own penis with an axe after consuming mushrooms. Over 700 pounds of bologna was seized at a border. And the Saudi World Cup chief claims that LGBTQ football fans are welcome despite the previous death threats. These are the weird stories for Monday on Weird AF News, the only daily weird news podcast, starting the week with some weird news. Let's go. A man cut off his penis after consuming psilocybin mushrooms. Dude definitely did that wrong. Bro, just lay down and look at some clouds. Maybe order a pizza. You're cutting off your penis. Well, they call him penis envy for a reason, I guess. This story is out of Austria. Doctors have documented the first known instance of psilocybin-induced penile amputation. After consuming a large quantity of magic mushrooms, a 37-year-old man that was suffering from depression and alcohol abuse severed his own penis with an axe. Yeah, I think the key there is alcohol abuse and depression. My guess is alcohol was also involved because the synergistic effects of any drug when you involve alcohol can bring the whole experience way down south, if you know what I mean. In this instance, too far down south. Alcohol inhibits the effects of mushrooms for sure. If you're going to do mushrooms, just do the mushrooms. You know, I've taken mushrooms many, many times. I usually have the urge to just lay down and close my eyes and put on some Led Zeppelin. Not to cut my wiener off. The article gives some description of mushrooms. Psilocybin is a naturally occurring psychedelic compound found in certain species of mushrooms, often referred to as magical mushrooms because they make you feel magical. They let you get on the phone to God. I don't recommend getting on the phone to God among strangers. Do it alone or with loved ones, because if you're at a party, the last thing you want to do is start talking to people about how much you love the trees and how you want to hug trees and thank them for being there for you and providing oxygen. Also, you might start to talk about some that aliens and UFOs and whatnot. Just do that around your friends only is my suggestion. Although it does give you some superpowers at a party. I found out one time I was on mushrooms at a party and I could tell who the bad guy was. You just can feel people's energy. I saw a guy, I like in the corner. I'm like, oh, that guy's no bueno. I'm not going to talk to that guy. And invariably, you'll find out that you're right about it. You ask somebody, hey, what's up with that dude? And they'll be like, oh, Benny. Yeah, he's a crypto scammer. Oh, got it. Yeah, I could feel the crypto scam energy on these mushrooms that I'm on. So, yeah, I was right. Now, the article also says that psilocybin has a long history of use dating back to ancient cultures, and it has been used for religious and spiritual purposes, and specifically through shamanic ceremonies with a shaman. You guys ever hang out with a shaman? I'm talking about a real shaman. Not some dude named Andrew from Malibu that teaches Reiki classes. Today, psilocybin is gaining attention in medical research due to its potential therapeutic benefits. Scientists are investigating its use in treating conditions such as depression, anxiety, and PTSD. In particular, studies have shown promising results for psilocybin's ability to alleviate symptoms in individuals with major depressive disorder, even when other treatments have failed. Yeah, and it's a nice alternative to using those laboratory-created pills, which have some very, very unsavory side effects. I got a buddy of mine who's on an antidepressant, but he can't get erections anymore. And I'm like, bro, aren't you back where you started? Okay, back to this particular case about this man. The hospital in Austria outlines these shocking details of the 37-year-old who consumed a large dose of psilocybin and during a severe psychotic episode amputated his penis using an axe. The man had a history of depression and alcohol abuse. He ingested 4 or 5 dried psilocybin mushrooms while staying alone in a secluded vacation home. Not long after consuming these mushrooms, the man began to experience a terrifying hallucination or delusion, which led him to take an axe and sever his penis into multiple pieces. The details of the event are unclear to the patient as he did not fully remember what occurred. Well, then that leads me to believe that alcohol was involved, because you don't black out on mushrooms, man. You just don't. I'm speaking from personal experience, as I've taken these things hundreds of times. Maybe not hundreds of times, but close to it. You don't black out. You're aware on some level. Alcohol is when you don't know what you're doing. And in this case, I mean, I feel bad for the guy. I mean, imagine how terrible that is to sober up to. I did what? No. Yeah. Look down. Unzip your pants. You'll see. Here's some more fascinating details. The man reportedly tied a piece of cloth around his genital area to control the bleeding and placed the severed parts of his penis in a jar filled with snow. Wow. That's a new kind of snow globe that I don't think I ever want to see. You shake it up. It's just pieces of penis and some snow trickle down. A passerby found him in a confused state and called for emergency services. The man was transported to a village and later to a hospital, arriving approximately 5 hours after the amputation. Upon arrival, the patient was in critical condition, having lost a significant amount of blood, as you can imagine. He was immediately taken into surgery. His penis was contaminated with soil and snow, and parts of the organ were severely damaged. Surgeons were able to save the glans, which is the tip of the penis, also known as the mushroom tip, and about 2 centimeters of the penile shaft, but the other sections were too damaged to be repaired. Miraculously, the replantation of the penis on the man was successful. Wow! Despite initial difficulties, the patient's condition improved after the surgery. It says here, although he still suffered from severe psychotic symptoms, including auditory hallucinations, religious delusions as well. He was placed under psychiatric care, and his treatment included antipsychotic medications to help control his hallucinations. This doesn't have much to do with the mushrooms then. This guy is having psychotic symptoms when he's clearly on no chemicals. So this is his natural state these days, unfortunately. Auditory hallucinations, religious delusions. This guy's clearly out of his mind and shouldn't be taking any chemicals except for those chemicals that would help get him stabilized. And I'm sure they have stuff for that. It says here, within 3 months of the penile surgery, remarkably, the patient was able to regain some erectile function. This is fabulous that they were able to... Well, medical miracles are happening all the time. They can reattach your penis, which is great news for all of the fellas that may end up in this predicament, not because you were partying, but because you have a jealous woman on your hands. I've covered many stories about lovers disattaching the genitalia of their loved ones, sadly. Now, if you happen to be curious about this particular case, you can read the case report called Penile Replantation After Self-Amputation Following Psilocybin-Induced Drug Psychosis, authored by Andreas Berger and Alfred Hobisch. I clicked on it and just to see the pictures, and I'm just going to say you don't want to do that. You can look at the after picture, but don't look at the before picture, is my suggestion. I don't think you have the stomach for that, or maybe you do. I feel as though I need to end this grotesque story on a laugh of some sort, so let me just say, when asked why he did it, the man replied, "I'm stumped." Come on, guys. Come on, I'm stumped? Oh, that's a good joke, man. Over 700 pounds of bologna was seized at the Texas border. One woman lost a whole lot of meat and then some last week. Very similar to the previous story where a man lost a whole lot of meat and then some. He was able to be put back together. Let's find out what happened to this lady that was clearly smuggling some bologna. It says in total 748 pounds of the Mexican bologna was seized by the Border Patrol agents during an inspection at the port of entry in the border city of Presidio. Wow, way to get on the case with the phony bologna, guys, at the border. The Border Patrol's on it. CSI Cold Cuts. On the next episode of CSI Cold Cuts, seizing hundreds of pounds of Mexican bologna. Can't let that into the country. Funny, they can catch the bologna trying to come into the country at the Mexican border, but can't seem to stop all that fentanyl that's killing millions and millions of people every year. Can't do nothing about the Fenty, but we got this counterfeit deli meats. This woman that they caught is 43 years old. They're not naming her, but they say she's a U.S. citizen, and that upon entry she only declared a cooked meal during the initial inspection. I only have a cooked meal. We found hundreds of pounds of bologna. Yes, but it's cooked bologna, so that's okay. You can bring in cooked meals over the border, but I'm very confused with what you can allow in and what you cannot. I got stopped coming into the country from Japan because I had a banana in my pocket. No, I mean I wasn't like it wasn't that kind of banana in my pocket. Hell, I'm really happy to be here, guys. Is that a banana in your pocket? Or are you happy to be home? No, I had an actual banana in my pocket that they gave me on the plane. They gave me 2 bananas, and I'm like, I'll save one for later, and I'll eat it on the Uber ride back to my apartment when I arrive in L.A. Nope. They found my banana. And, man, they made a whole big stink of it. The lady got on the walkie-talkie. Get on down here. Next thing you know, there's like 4 officers there just grilling me about my banana. They put the gloves on, and they held it up in the air for everybody to see. I was so embarrassed. They're like, we could charge you $600 for this. And I'm like, I don't know, man. I just want to eat the banana as a snack. I'm like, by the way, I got a banana in my colon right now. You're going to charge me for that too? I mean, what's going on over there? Anyways, as for this lady, the bologna caused the Border Protection agents to conduct a further inspection, and they found other stuff. 280 boxes of undeclared prescription medications and $7,600 in concealed currency as well. Okay, this lady sounds a little nefarious then on some level. Although we kind of have to know what the prescriptions are for. Maybe they're for her gout or something. And I tell you right now, if you're going to eat hundreds of pounds of bologna, you're probably going to get the gout. In addition to losing her large bologna stash, her medication, and her cash, this woman was fined $1,000 for failing to declare the items. All 40 rolls of the Mexican bologna were destroyed after they were seized. Oh, they destroyed all her bologna rolls? Looks like those big, tasty, juicy hunks of rolled up bologna are never going to make it to the Diddy mansion for the freak-off party after all. Oh, the Diddy jokes, guys. We're just beginning. This woman's Mexican bologna was taken away because it is, quote, a prohibited product, according to the CBP. And there's a potential to introduce foreign animal diseases to the U.S. pork industry. Can't have that. Oh, I thought they were just trying to keep the quality of deli meats in the country up to speed because bologna, let's admit, it's kind of a low quality. I hope they let in the great capicola, prosciutto, and pastrami, though, at the border. We love those. What items are prohibited at U.S. borders, you're wondering? Well, the article says here, any and all undeclared prohibited items like dangerous toys, cars that don't protect their occupants in a crash, bushmeat, or illegal substances like absinthe and ropanol can be seized and or result in a civil penalty, according to the U.S. Customs and Border Protection website. It doesn't say anything about produce coming in from Mexico, but I'd imagine there's limitations on that. Maybe you can bring in some Mexican bananas. Mexican bananas. The actual bananas, not to be confused with the Mexican bananas that you find at a gay Mexican nightclub. Saudi World Cup chief claims that LGBTQ fans are welcome despite the death penalty. So, progress, I guess. It says here the man in charge of Saudi Arabia's bid to host the Men's Football World Cup in 2034 has said that LGBTQ plus fans will be welcome in their country despite anti-gay laws. What's the lesson here? Well, how do you change somebody's dehumanizing belief systems? Offer some cash, right? This is a money grab, I assume. Hamad al-Balawaki. I don't know who this guy. Oh, this is the guy, the man in charge. Hamad al-Balawaki. He said that LGBTQ plus fans would be respected and welcome in their country, even though football clubs have told queer fans to be especially cautious if they plan to visit. I say this is a trap, guys. As the wolf said, chickens are always welcome in my den. Nyah, 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 nyah. Here's a quote from this guy, Hamad, who I can't help but not believe. I don't know, there's something about this guy. We are on a journey of remarkable transformation, he says. This is the natural step for us to aspire to bring the World Cup to Saudi Arabia, and we're very excited about it. You will be respected. You will be welcome. And that respect and welcome is to everyone from all around the world. I guess what he's saying is that you're safe inside the stadium during the games. But between the airport and the stadium, you're on your own. You're on your own. I wouldn't trust this. Hail to the no. This guy with the name I can't pronounce, he also added, people need to educate themselves about the kingdom, and the best way to do that is to come and visit. They will find hospitable Saudis. We would love to receive all of our guests, no matter what their background. First of all, I'm not going somewhere that you still call the kingdom. That tells you all you need to know, that this is a male-dominated culture that's celebrating values that are thousands of years old. In the modern world, which is a place they really don't belong, these values, in my opinion. And, from a personal standpoint, I just... the idea that they keep allowing these countries with shit values to host world events like this, it's just ridiculous. Meanwhile, there are so many other countries that would love to host these events because it's a lot of income can be generated when you host events like this. So, at what point is like the Olympic committees, the FIFA committees just going to say, nah, you don't get to host our event and collect in on all this cash because honestly, well, for one, you treat women like dogs, really, and it's disgusting. I mean, never mind how they treat gay people. It's just like, from what I heard, it's the penalty is death in some of these places. Here's a quote from a spokesperson of Stonewall. If you guys don't know what Stonewall is, you should Google that. Hosting the 2034 FIFA World Cup will put Saudi Arabia in the global spotlight. This is an opportunity for the international and sporting community to challenge Saudi Arabia on human rights and equality issues and keep calling for change even after the final whistle is blown. Yeah. Well, my stance on it is it shouldn't even be over there. The chance to challenge them is to say, no, you don't get to play host to this. The answer is no. And when they're like, no, why, what's the problem? It's because you're gross. That's the problem. And the majority of the world agrees that you're gross. So until you prove to us there are some major behavioral changes over there, as far as treating human beings, then no. I'd be very surprised if any of the gays would be attending an event such like this anyways. It's just a warning to you. Don't believe what they say. It's just a bunch of PR flackery so they can get this big check. I don't think any gays want to spend a crap load of money to travel to watch a manipulated soccer tournament in a sauna. And there's a chance you could get killed if you stay an extra week. I don't think so. Hi, my friends and my loyal listeners of the Weird AF News podcast. I appreciate you spending a little time with me in the show today. This is your buddy Jonesy. Let's give thanks and praise. Travis J. wrote me a 5-star review on Amazon, so I just want to give Travis some love right here. He wrote, Not Tosh.0. Hey, Jonesy, I've been listening to your podcast since the pandemic, and at first I thought Tosh.0 had a podcast because to me you both sound just alike. Turns out it wasn't Tosh, but Jonesy. Needless to say, I stuck around because I enjoyed your humor. Keep it up, Travis in Knoxville, Tennessee. Well, it's very flattering to be compared to Tosh.0 because Daniel Tosh is a very, very funny and successful comedian. I would enjoy some of that success. I would enjoy some of those paychecks that he's had. Very successful guy. Thank you, Travis in Knoxville, Tennessee. I'd love to visit Tennessee. I heard they got a good little comedy scene over there in Nashville, and a music scene, obviously, as well. But, a relative of mine just visited and sent me some cool photos of the downtown and all these music bars, and it seemed pretty cool. Anyways, if you guys ever want to leave a review, it's super helpful. You can do it on Amazon or Apple iTunes, also known as Apple Podcasts. And you can give me some stars on the Spotify app. If you're listening on Spotify, you can give me some stars. That's super helpful as well. It helps elevate the show's status, I believe. And I really care all about status. Anyways, I hope you guys had a nice weekend. I had a great time. I did shows. Last night, Sunday night's show, as a matter of fact, happened to be at a really cool dispensary in West Hollywood that's owned by Woody Harrelson. It's called The Woods, and I highly recommend it if you're in the Los Angeles area. It's a dispensary in the front, so a store, but in the back, man, they have all these little nooks and crannies that you can smoke, little tables and chairs, and surrounded by plants. It's like a jungle back there, and there's a koi pond and little fountains, little stream running through the middle of it, and there's all these little private smoking rooms that you can rent, like little tree houses that you can rent for your friends. You guys can have a little sesh. It just was phenomenal, man, and they do a show in there once a month. So I was very lucky to be included in the show. Man, that place is cool. But the whole time I'm thinking, oh, this is a great place to just hang out. Amazing place for a date as well. So check that out. The Woods. Really, really cool, man. It's got to be the coolest dispensary I've ever been in, and I've been in so many. And one of the coolest environments I've ever done stand-up comedy in. And I've done, thousands of shows. So, wow, really cool joint. Their Instagram is at The Woods WeHo, if you want to check that out. I put a link to it in my Instagram today, along with some videos of the interior. So follow me at Funny Jones if you want to see that. Anyways, that's pretty cool. If you're ever in Los Angeles, highly, highly recommend checking that place out. Parking can be challenging, though, so plan ahead. Okay, enough rambling for me. If you want to call the show, 646-450-2012. The email's funnyjones@gmail.com. And if you want to support the show, go to weirdafnews.com, the official website where you can buy Jonesy a coffee or join the Patreon, which is the ultimate way of supporting your favorite podcaster. Adios.